All right, joined here by Dustin White, pro golfer, Washington State head men's golf coach. Got the U.S. Open logo behind you there. You played in that U.S. Open. But before we tee it off and talk golf here, let's talk about the circumstances that have brought us to have to do this via video chat and not in person. You're staying 6 feet away from everybody, I assume.
At all times, yes. Yeah, we're doing our part here in Pullman to work from home, stay at home as much as we can. Obviously, it's a bizarre time. I don't think anyone saw their spring seasons going like this, but it's just kind of our new reality. But we're thankful to have some really good leadership from Governor Inslee, President Schultz, Pat. I can't imagine being a healthcare worker right now. I mean, working 24 hours a day, but we're thankful for all those folks doing their part. And then some, the professors being very flexible with student athletes and all the kids in general doing things online. So some adjustments from everybody, but it seems like everyone here in Pullman's done a nice job handling it.
Of all the sports that have been affected, the game of golf requires or caters to some isolation. Are players able to swing the clubs at all still?
If they are, they're doing it inside. I mean, they closed Palouse Ridge through April 6th. So guys might be doing some drills inside. This kind of gives us a time, honestly, away from the golf course to maybe work on some other things. So there's always that silver lining you got to find, and it just gives you some time to sort of hit the refresh button and look back and see, some things you want to do better going forward, and just make the best of the situation.
You did get a chance as a team. The season was shortened, but you played in 4 fall tournaments and 3 spring tournaments. How'd they go?
The fall was a little slow. We had 4 freshmen this year. But the best part about it is all 4 of them have played. And so it seems like in the fall, we didn't play great. We didn't play terrible. We were just kind of like, going along, and the guys were learning as much as they could. Everybody came together really well in the team dynamic, which was great. And then in the spring, we started to find some traction. Had a couple rounds that were under par. We had the best round going at Bandon Dunes. We had the best round of the day going, and the last round it just kind of got away from us. But you could tell the guys were starting to find it, and we could see it, and we were excited about the rest of the spring season.
Nicholas Chiem had the best year for you. Is that fair to say?
He's been pretty steady. He was one of our go-to guys, and you'd hope to see that out of your seniors. But he worked hard at his game over the summer break. Played a couple of tournaments in the winter break, and came back, and his game's been really solid.
I personally haven't played Bandon Dunes yet, but you guys were doing pretty darn well there. I know it has its challenges. What's that course like? It's relatively local, which is fun. Some fans may have been able to go there and are familiar with the course. And as you alluded to, you guys were having some good rounds there, weren't you?
We were. It's a very unique setup. If you haven't been, it's hard to describe. Basically they tried to recreate, the Scottish style, link style golf, and it's honestly the closest that I've ever seen. It's a great atmosphere. The views are phenomenal. There are days where you wouldn't want to poke your head outside, but that's just part of the experience. But we've been really fortunate with the weather there. Each year we've gone, the guys just sort of embrace it and kind of have that buzz about them of being at Bandon Dunes. And the field, they get a great field every year. So there's just a lot of really good things that come out of that tournament, as well as us going there and having some success.
You said you had 4 freshmen and 4 freshmen now playing prominently. That's as young as it gets.
It is. And that's, you think to why you recruited these kids, that's why you wanted them here, because you knew they could play. And yeah, there's going to be, some of the learning curves and the ups and downs, but they've done a really nice job of having some good takeaways from each tournament and then applying those going forward and working hard. And they just want a chance to compete, and they've earned that chance, and everyone is getting better, and that's all we can ask for.
You were in Hawaii, weren't you?
We were, yes.
How'd that go?
Hawaii, again, it's always nice. It's a trip that everyone looks forward to in February. Although, February here this year was not too bad. But it's a great field. They do a nice job of hosting all the teams over there. Great golf course. I think our theme of the spring has been we've been 2/3 of the way there. We've had 2 rounds that were pretty damn solid, and then one round just sort of got away from us. But we were kind of getting to the point where we were getting ready to overcome that, and the season came to an abrupt end. But this group of guys, they'll get back there.
Is that mental when that happens, when it's constantly 2 out of 3?
It could be a number of things. I think we've really this year made an effort to get better mentally, and focus on that just as much as the physical part. And I mean, on some of those 36 hole days, it's a grind. You are going to have stretches where you're not as focused or you're getting a little fatigued and tired, but those are the times where you got to dig deep and just find a way to get it across the finish line.
As a college golf coach, how does it work? Like, do you walk with the guys during a round? Do you stay at a certain point and meet a bunch of them, like at the turn, for instance? How do you do it logistically during a tournament?
We've done really all of that. It kind of depends on the golf course. We've walked with guys for 9-hole stretches. Sometimes the whole round. We'll hang out on the par 3s or the par 5s and watch everybody go through. You can really do anything with these guys except carry their bag. You can help them read the greens. You can help them with clubs and yardages. So you can really get in there and find out what they're thinking throughout the round, which is really good insight for us. But we've kind of done a little bit of everything. Most recently, we just sort of hung out on a couple of holes and watched them go through and just let these guys play golf. I think we've kind of told them our piece. They get it. They've worked on it. And now it's just time to let them loose and let all that practice shine through.
Is a lot of your real hands-on impact, like when you do a practice round, be it at Palouse or wherever, or even the driving range?
Right. We've done some work now ahead of the tournaments where we looked at the golf course before we even leave town. So when they get there, it doesn't look so foreign. They at least have some picture in their head of what they're going to see. And obviously guys that have played in the past know the golf course, know what to expect, and can kind of pass that down to some of those younger guys.
Is that kind of the college golf equivalent of like watching the film of the opposition? If you're playing football, you look at that 22 film. For you guys, it's about course scouting.
Yeah, more or less. What do you guys feel like if you saw this hole and for the first time and you got there? How do you think you would play it? And then we might chime in and say, well, the numbers might say something else, or if the wind's coming from this direction, it might change things. And so we just kind of go through a lot of different scenarios to make sure that we're the most prepared team to play.
How formalized is that database? Like, how do you get course data? How do you acquire that course knowledge? I mean, anybody who's a Cougar, who's played Palouse Ridge a bunch of times, knows how it works off the tee. Hole 1, it dips down after like 150 something yards, and then it comes back up, depending on where you're teeing. Not teeing off on those Dustin White tips, but if you're playing in the more they're not those college golf exclusives, but if you're playing at the Grays or the Blues, whatever. But you know what I mean? That intimate course knowledge is everything.
It is, and in playing Palouse Ridge, that's kind of the beauty of a facility like that, is you can move the tees around. You've got a lot of options around the green, so you can kind of make it how you want it in a sense. But a lot of the numbers and things for the other golf courses where we play, it's either from previous tournaments, or you go on a website, or you use Google Earth. I mean, you just got to get creative and try to find an edge however you can and use that to your advantage.
So there's really it's not like you have a special college golf database for the courses to log into and go, oh, okay, here's how you get the 18-hole, info and data.
No, we kind of come up with our own method, and we've tried to, we're trying new things. We want to learn new things just like we want the guys to learn new things. And so it's a two-way street. And, we've gone back and looked at previous results, pictures, yardage books, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure we're not missing anything that we could pass along to them.
Interesting. Pretty cool. Hard sport to cover. It's 18 holes. It's logistically a lot of space. There's just a lot going on in golf in a way that I think is not talked about a lot. Like, it's logistically creates all these issues. It's the only sport. It's the most square mileage wise expansive sport that you could possibly play.
It is. That's kind of the beauty of it. It's so different. You've got the team aspect, which obviously we value, but it's an individual game. And the more you bring your best self and you can shoot the lowest score possible on each day to contribute to a team score, I mean, that's kind of all we're asking you to do. And it was interesting how we all know that sports bring people together. And I think it's kind of interesting now that we don't have any sports, that it's kind of transcended of this is just much bigger than sports with, the current environment that we're in and how many people are affected by this. And so, you're kind of thankful of the day-to-day job that you have. And it's just sort of a bizarre atmosphere to be in, but I mean, we're all very lucky with where we are.
No question. Very, very lucky. And thank you for taking this time, and be safe and be well. Wash your hands.
You do the same. We got to get out and work on your golf game too.
Oh, yeah, we do. Work is the appropriate term. We really do. I'd love that. That'd be great. I might need some extra coaching though. It might be a little disturbing to you.
Well, I've got some extra time on my hands, so
That's true. All right, buddy. Be safe. Be well.
All right, Jess. Take care.
You too.